Hey, this is Eamon. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up an online calendar from painting estimates. And basically what you're going to be able to do with this calendar is, for one thing, you're going to be able to text it straight to people so they can book themselves in. But for another, you can put this on your website so people can book in straight from there. Now, first I'm going to talk about the benefits of this, some examples I found online of painting companies using this, and then your software choices for when you're setting this up. So now some of them are paid and some of them are free. I'm going to be focusing on Calendly because that one's free when it's used by just one person. Now, if you've got multiple sales reps and each of them needs their own calendar, then you need to use a paid option. Or what you could do then is each sales rep could have their own calendar instead of having them under the company calendar. But I'll talk about that later. First, I'm going to talk about the benefits of having an online calendar. For one thing, you're going to capture more leads, especially outside working hours. The reason is that when you've got a calendar on your website, it's a lot more inviting than just a form, especially when someone's in the mood, they're ready to buy and they're looking to get an estimate. So they don't just want to put their name, email, and phone number. They actually want to set up a time for you to come and do the estimate. The second thing is it shows high intent. Like I said, you'll know that when someone comes through your website and does this, that they're really like close to making a buying decision. So it really puts you in front of those kinds of people. The third thing is that it's convenient for customers. Like I said, some people will be just ready to buy at that moment, and they're going to be looking to get estimates right away. They won't just want to fill out a form and wait for you to get back to them whenever, especially outside working hours. So imagine somebody's doing this on the weekend, right? They finally got time, they're looking to get an estimate. They'll want to set things up quickly because they might be busy. The fourth thing is that it just looks very professional to have something like this and for them to be able to trust that you're going to actually show up on time because of this thing that's on your website. It's already, starting off on the right foot. And the last thing is that you don't have to follow up with the person and book them in yourself. Now, I already mentioned this, but like I said, it's just a lot more convenient for everybody, for the customer and for you. And I'm going to show you some examples I found online of companies having their calendars on their websites. So here's some examples I found online. And I've got no relation to these companies, I just found them online when I was looking for this video. Now you can see you can select schedule an estimate and immediately opens you up to this calendar. Now this is a software I'm going to show you and I'm going to be focusing on in this video. But basically you can see it's a 30-minute estimate and the lead or the potential customer basically just chooses a time that's convenient for them, right? And then puts in these details. How did you hear about us? What painting services are needed? Budget. How ready are you to hire a painter? And then they schedule the event. So that's just one example. Now, this other one, like I said, that first one, that was Calendly. The second one, this is Acuity Scheduling. Now, this is a paid option, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can see 30 minutes. You can obviously decide how long you want your estimates to be when you're setting up the calendar. But again, same thing. Gives the person the option to book in online, select the time, all right, select and continue, and then it asks for these details, and then complete the appointment. Now, another thing you can do is, like I said before, if you've got multiple sales reps, and maybe you've got someone doing exterior estimates, you've got someone doing interior estimates, maybe even virtual ones, you can have different calendars for them. So you can have something like this on your website that gives the person even more choice, So let's say the person wants a virtual estimate. Again, same thing. They pick a date and time that's convenient. You get more details, especially their address. Like I said, it's high intent, It's a lot more than just filling out a form because they actually choose the time and give you their address. They're inviting you to come and, do the estimate. Again, the same thing, complete. The person books the appointment and they get a confirmation. All right, so those were the examples, and now your software options. Like I said, there's Calendly. That's the one I'm going to be showing you in this video. Another software you can use is Go High Level. This is the one that I use personally. And this is actually an all-in-one CRM, so it's not just for calendars. You can basically do everything from there. You can create websites and landing pages. It's got automations and follow-ups. I'm not going to go through that in this video just because, like I said, there's more stuff than you might be looking for at this moment. And the third one, which is what I showed you on a couple of those examples, is Acuity Scheduling. Now this one is a paid option. It's not. It doesn't have like a free version like Calendly. So I'm not going to be focusing on it in this video. Another thing that's really important for doing all this is that this is going to be synced up with your Google Calendar. So you're going to use your Gmail, right? The one that you're actually signed in with on Google, and it's going to sync with your Google Calendar. So make sure you have a Gmail, which you probably already do. And I'm going to go into Calendly now and show you how to set up your own calendar. Alright, so I noticed while filming that I actually wasn't on the free plan of Calendly. I was on a free trial of their Teams plan. Now, don't worry about it. Everything that I go over in the video is applicable and you can do on the free plan, except for the follow-up emails when somebody books in. So they do actually get a confirmation even on the free plan, but you can actually have the follow-up emails that go out 24 hours, 72 hours, and 1 hour before the appointment. I'll have that show up on screen just before I actually do it, just so that you know that this is a paid feature. But like I said, other than that, everything that I go over, you actually can do on the free plan, and I highly recommend that you do. Alright, so I just went to Calendly.com, and here it says, Calendly is your scheduling automation platform for eliminating the back and forth emails to find the perfect time. So that's exactly what you want to do. You want to eliminate the back and forth. So just sign up with Google. Now just choose Google because it's the most convenient one. It's probably what you're already logged in on. And just choose whatever email address you want to use. Alright, so this is what comes up after you sign in, and you can create your Calendly URL. I recommend you just put your business name here, so let's just say Eamon's-painting, for example. Just put your business name there. I'm going to leave that as Eamon. Press continue. Alright, so what it's going to do is it's going to sync with your Google Calendar, like I said, and it's going to check if there are any conflicts there. And if there are conflicts, if you've got something already booked at that time, whether it's from Calendly or any other source, whatever else you use that calendar for, it won't book at that time. So it'll check that email for conflicts and then add events to it, basically. It says your Google Calendar is connected. Now set your availability. Now usually you just want to choose 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whenever your working hours are, Monday to Friday. And we'll be able to customize this later on. What is your day-to-day role? Now you can choose other or you can choose interview scheduling. It doesn't really matter. Alright, once that's done, this is what the page looks like. And here we're going to start to edit the calendar and create it in a way that's actually for estimates. So this is our link, right? I'm going to show you what happens when you open this link. It basically takes people to so the way to explain it is that it's basically your link, and then people can select which calendar to book on. So for example, that says 30-minute meeting. Let's say that said interior painting. If I had another one, it would say exterior painting, and it would show up next to it right here. So people can book in for an interior or an exterior. Now, like I said, if you've got multiple team members on one calendar, you can assign each person to one. But if you're just one person, then I think it's best to just have the one calendar, and then inside the form, when people put their details in, you can ask them what service they're interested in. It's completely up to you. Alright, so now I'm going to close that. Alright, so what you can do is you can basically just delete this for now, because you're not going to need it. This particular event. You can go up here and select profile. Inside here, you can change your name and put the welcome message. Now, this is what people are going to see on the calendar. So basically, you can just give them instructions. You can just write something like, find a time that suits you, and we'll come out and give you an estimate. Something like that. Alright, you can select your date format, the country that you're in, things like that. Alright, once you're done with that, go to branding, and you can put your company logo in here. And then I think it's best to deselect this, because when you deselect it, it'll use your logo. Confirmation notification email sent to your invitees will feature your picture rather than the Calendly logo, so you might want to do that as well. And again, here's your link that you created earlier, and you can change it whenever. But remember that if you change it, it will mean that all of your copied links will no longer work, and it will need to be updated. So if you sent that to someone and they didn't click on it, and then you change it, then that link isn't going to work anymore. But I think if you actually used your business name, there's no reason to ever change it. Calendar sync, just to make sure that it's actually synced up with your Google Calendar. All right, now before we start making any event types, which are basically the different kinds of appointments that people can book, it's best to change your availability. So click on availability here and just make sure that everything's right. So for example, if you can't do 9 to 5 on every day, then you might want to change that. All right. Again, just whatever suits you. And let me show you something inside Google Calendar where, for example, let's say that you have your lunch break at 1 to 2 p.m. all right, every day, and you don't want any bookings to appear in that time. So I'm going to show you how to block that time off so that time block basically doesn't appear for people when they try to book an estimate. So it's never an inconvenience. All right, so all you do is you just go to calendar.google.com. All right. And if you're signed in, your calendar should open up. All right, so let's say, for example, that you take your lunch break from 1 to 2 p.m. What you can do is you can basically block that out. Just press and hold from 1 p.m. down to 2 p.m. just like that, 1 to 2 p.m. and add to call that lunch break. Okay. Now Thursday, 14th of March, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. doesn't repeat, but I actually do want it to repeat because you want that to be blocked off every day. So press on more options and select every weekday, Monday to Friday, and make sure it says busy, and then just press save. Now that's going to show up on every day of the week, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. See, 1 p.m. lunch break starts. So at that time, people won't be able to book in on your calendar. So this is really convenient, so you can keep the availability the exact same way it was when I showed it to you a second ago. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., don't need to change anything. All right, so once you're done with that, it's time to create the actual events. So go to event types and select new event type. All right, just one-on-one. The host will be me. So name your event. So let's just call this painting estimate. Duration 30 minutes, or let's say 45 minutes. Location will be in person. Okay, now this is where you put the actual location. You can just say, at your house, because this is what the person is going to see. Okay, this is a preview. This is what it's going to look like. So it'll have your name, painting estimate, 45 minutes. The location is at your house or at your residence, whatever. Sounds more professional, doesn't it? All right, it says your event type is ready. Share it now or tweak your settings in the panel. So a really important thing here is how many days in advance do you want people to be able to book? Right now, this has a set for 60 days. Now, I think that's a bit too much. If you're using this calendar in ads that you're running, I recommend not having anything more than 7 days in advance, because any more than that, the lead quality will suffer. You're going to have a lot of no-shows, people rescheduling, things like that. But when it comes to putting it on your actual website, I don't see any problem with having it like 2 weeks in advance. So how many days into the future? Yeah, calendar days. You can also choose to count as weekdays if you want, but calendar days, let's just say 14 days into the future. Definitely not indefinitely, because you don't know where you're going to be, and you might not have time. You might not have time to block something out in your calendar if something does come up. So hours and calendar settings. All right, so it's going to be weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And remember, because it's reading from the Google Calendar, I've blocked 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., which is your lunchtime, or any other event that you might have, any other time that you don't want people to book in at. So you can select event limits, so the buffer time. Add time before or after the booked Calendly event. So you can have time before or after the event is booked. So for example, before the event, maybe you want like 30 minutes, and after the event, so you don't want like 2 estimates booked within an hour of each other. So that's what that's for. Minimum notice. So let's say right now it is 1 p.m. Somebody's looking at your calendar right now. What's the earliest estimate they can book? Okay, so it's 1 p.m. So if I choose that the minimum is going to be 1 hour, then the earliest they can choose is 2 p.m. Okay, but if it's, for example, like 4:30 and you've got it set for 9 to 5, there's nothing left to book on that day. So it'll be the next day. So you want minimum notice of 1 hour and buffer time. Like I said, you want to have your driving time in mind when you set that. So daily limit, maybe you want to have a maximum number of estimates, maximum number of appointments per day. So let's say you want no more than 4 estimates a day. Again, this is highly specific to your individual needs. How big of an area are you covering? You know, how much driving do you expect to be doing? Maybe 4 estimates is too much. Maybe 3 is perfect, you know? It's completely up to you. Time zone, it's going to be that person's time zone, naturally. And start time increments. So basically that just means if it's set to 30 minutes, they're going to see, for example, 2 p.m., 2:30, 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m., like that, 30-minute increments. So let's leave that as it is and choose save and close. Now, booking page options, asking for name, email, plus 1 question. So this is going to be the event link. It's going to be your name and then painting-estimate. And in the booking form, it's got name, email, and you got 1 question. Please share anything that will help prepare for our meeting. So you can edit that, all right? And you can ask something like, what is the scope of the project? Something open-ended like this is actually really good and have it be required. The reason it's really good is because the more that somebody fills this out, the more high intent they're going to be. So somebody writes a paragraph or 2, they're very specific, they know what they want, so it might be easier to do business with them. All right, and you can add any other question that you want. For example, how soon are you looking to have this done? Have it be required. And answer type, you want to choose radio buttons and put your options in here. So again, this is going to depend on the availability that you tend to have. So let's say, within a week, within 2 weeks from now, or within a month. And maybe just have another option for not sure yet. You can choose as many questions as you like. I don't think there's a limit on it. Any more information that you want to get from the person, and that's it. So for the confirmation page, you can display the Calendly confirmation page, or you can redirect to an external site. And obviously, if you're running ads, you want it to redirect to an external site so that you can have conversions trigger. But I kind of went over this in my conversion tracking video, but I'm going to skip over this for now. You can just leave that as it is. Just save and close. All right, and the last thing is communications. So these are the reminders that are going to go out to the person to remind them that the event has been booked, and when it gets close. So the first one, the calendar invitation, that one gets sent immediately after booking, and you can edit what it says in here. So this is the email that's going to be sent. So it's invitee full name, so it's the person's full name, and your name. And this is the email. It's going to be event name, event description, the location, which is at their house, and questions and answers. These are going to be the things that they filled out in the form, just so that they're able to, look back at them. So this is sent to the person after the booking, which adds the event to their calendar. Next, there's the email reminders. All right, so let's say you turn that on. So this gets sent 24 hours before the event. Now, the thing with these reminders is that you don't want them to be too frequent because you don't want to annoy people, but at the same time, you want to make sure that it gives people enough time. So if they do decide to cancel, that it doesn't, affect you too much. So this one's 24 hours before the event. It's probably good to have one 72 hours. So that's 3 days. So 3 days before the event. Again, this is going to depend on how many days you've got open for the person to book in, Remember earlier when I said it's going to be like the next 7 days or the next 14 days, so things like that. So right now, the person's going to get a reminder. And again, you can edit this email however you like. And let's say 1 hour before the event. Again, play around with this, find out what works best. And you can have a cancellation policy in here if you want. include cancel and reschedule links and email invitations and reminders. That's basically going to be like a small link at the end of the email that says if you need to reschedule, then you can click here and it'll take them to the calendar again, and they'll be able to choose a different time, and it'll basically delete that first time that they book. So it's not going to be two slots that have been filled, just one, because it's considered as a person rescheduling. So again, just edit this however you want, and then save and close. And you can do the exact same thing with text reminders and email follow-up. Like I said, this is completely up to you. I really recommend that you do utilize this stuff though, because it's just a lot more hands-off. It's a lot more convenient for you and for the customer, like I said. So once you're done with that, you can save and close. And I don't think I chose one of the questions there as being, what service are you interested in? But you can do that. Put whatever questions you want on the form. And now here's your event type. And now when I open this link, okay, it's going to have the event type right here, painting estimate. And this is what the person sees when they're actually booking in. So you can take this and put it on your website. And this is what they'll see. They'll go in and select the date and time that suits them, name, email, scope of the project, whatever, how soon are you looking to have this done, and then schedule the event. All right, and this is what they see. It's going to be 1 p.m. to 1:45. It's going to be at your house, 45 minutes. Painting estimate. That's pretty much it. It's very simple, but it's really powerful stuff. So I really do recommend that you have this on your website. And like I said, it's just really professional. So, imagine you're driving or something and you don't have time to follow up with someone. You can just send them this link to your calendar and tell them to, find a time in there that suits them and they can book in. It's much easier for everybody. Now, if you actually want to put this on your website, this is what you do. You go here, click on this gear icon, select add to website, and add it as an inline embed. So this will basically just have the calendar, just as a big calendar in the middle of the page. That's a lot better for conversions than a pop-up widget or pop-up text. So select inline embed, continue, and this is basically the code. Place this code in your HTML where you want your Calendly widget to appear. So you can just take this, okay, as it is, just copy and paste it, and you can paste it into your website as an HTML code or send it to whoever manages your website, and that's basically it. It'll show up in your email whenever somebody books in there, and they'll also get reminders. And you can change how this looks. You can play around with the background color, the text color, the button and link color. Maybe you want to change it to your brand colors, but make sure you actually take a look at it and make sure that it actually looks good. So, and everything's easy to read. You don't want to mess it up without being sure of exactly what you did. Alright, so that's everything I've got for this video. I hope you got something out of it and that you create this online calendar if you don't already have one. Like I said in the beginning, it's really convenient both for you and for your customers. If you're looking for Google Ad Management services, then you can get in touch with me on my website. I'll have it in the pinned comment. But other than that, find this useful and I'll see you next time. Thanks.